So
Badass.
26 of the 30 players have been announced. When can we expect to hear the final four? Do we have any hints of who it could be? What we got?
I think we might have a couple more rookies in there. That might be a hint.
Caitlin Clark, one of the most prominent figures in women's basketball, has recently made a significant move that is causing shockwaves to spread throughout the world of sports. It has been reported that Clark has left the WNBA and has instead signed a multi-million-dollar contract with the Unrivalled League, which is a revolutionary league that is aiming to challenge the WNBA's dominance in a particularly significant way. It is a huge deal. This historic signing was not only accomplished by Clark, who defeated Angel Reese for the position, but she is also joining forces with some of the most prominent names in the game in a league that has the potential to alter the course of women's basketball in the future. However, what does this imply for the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, and why did Clark decide to play for Unrivalled rather than the established league? Let us dissect it in detail.
I've been here. You guys are here with us.
There you go. I know it's hard to look ahead to January 17th, and for people who don't know this, Brianna Stewart, the woman she's battling it out with right now, they actually founded Unrivalled together, a 3-on-3 league. Congratulations on the TNT deal. That is huge.
Amazing,
That'll be fun to be able to watch. Well done. What is it? Like, for people that are not familiar with what this is going to be.
The co-founder of Unrivalled and one of its most prominent stars, Nafisa Collier, has not only freely expressed her admiration for Clark, but she has also been exerting a great deal of effort in order to secure her employment. Both Collier and Brianna Stewart, who was also one of the co-founders of the league, are resolute in their intentions to create something truly remarkable. Some of the most prominent names in women's basketball are already on board with Unrivalled, which means that the team offers top-tier talent and competition. Nevertheless, the structure of the league itself is the thing that is garnering the most attention, not the players themselves. It is a real game changer because Unrivalled promises to have a model that is more player-centric, equity stakes for athletes, and higher salaries than the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA. Caitlin Clark's signing with Unrivalled is not only a significant event, it also has the potential to bring about a shift in the power dynamic within the realm of women's sports.
Yeah, well, I feel like it's just so crazy because the growth that Caitlin has brought to the game, the sheer amount of money that she's making these teams, people are having to move their venues for when she comes to play.
Clark's choice to sign with Unrivalled is not just a financial move. Rather, it is a move that comes with the potential for growth, freedom, and recognition. In spite of the fact that players like Clark have generated massive revenues for teams simply by showing up to play, the WNBA has struggled to compensate its athletes fairly. In fact, whenever Clark took the court, ticket sales skyrocketed, venues were forced to increase capacity, and games attracted enormous populations of people watching them on television. It is impossible to deny the impact that Clark has had, and Unrivalled recognizes her not only as a player, but also as an indispensable component of the league's forward-looking strategy.
And she's getting paid like $75,000 a year. So definitely we want to be a part of that change, and that's what we're doing. We're obviously, I think she deserves that. I think she should be one of the top players in the world just for the sheer numbers that she's bringing.
Clark's decision to join Unrivalled was influenced by a number of factors, one of which was the pay. Players have long been dissatisfied with the salary structure of the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, with many of them believing that they are not compensated adequately for the amount of competition and revenue that they bring in. Clark's annual salary was only $75,000, despite the fact that he was one of the most well-known and successful players. That is a significant amount of money in comparison to what her male counterparts make in the NBA, and it is even less than what players earn in other countries. According to reports, Unrivalled provides a solution to this issue by offering average salaries that are significantly higher than those available in the WNBA. One of the many reasons why Clark made the decision to abandon ship is because of this.
We have the highest average salary in women's sports, which we're really excited to offer.
Wow.
So just all around, I'm so excited for people to see it because there's even more than people know.
Unrivalled is not simply about increasing the amount of money that its players receive. Rather, it is about giving them back control of the game. All of the players in the league have an equity stake, which means that they have a direct say in the management of the league and the direction it will take in the future. In the history of women's sports, this level of ownership has never been seen before, and it was a substantial selling point for Clark. It is not only about financial gain, it is also about gaining power. Unrivalled is establishing itself as the future of women's basketball by providing players with something that the WNBA has not done before, a genuine investment in the success of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we're not making the money that we feel like we should be making. We're, a new CBA is on the horizon, so hopefully that's changing soon. But overseas for so long is people had to play overseas to make enough money to, support themselves throughout the year. And I do think overseas is a great option for some people, but it shouldn't be your only option to be able to make money.
In order to supplement their incomes during the off-season, a significant number of WNBA players have been forced to play in other countries over the course of the years. The amount of money that players like Brittany Griner made while playing in Russia was significantly higher than what they made in the United States. Unrivalled, on the other hand, presents a novel model, one in which players can earn a substantial living for themselves without having to leave the country. Clark is able to concentrate on her game and her future in the United States because she will not have to worry about the additional pressure of playing abroad in order to make ends meet. With the introduction of this new league, the professional landscape for female athletes is being reshaped in a manner that has the potential to have repercussions across all women's sports.
That's what we're doing. We're obviously, I think she deserves that. I think she should be one of the top players in the world just for the sheer numbers that she's bringing. So I think that's something that needs to change, and that's what we're trying to do.
It is not just the money or the control that led Clark to join Unrivalled. Rather, it is the talent that she is surrounded by that motivates her to do so. This league is attracting some of the best players in the world, and that is exactly where Clark, who is known for her fiercely competitive nature, should be playing. The 3-on-3 format of the league allows for more space, faster-paced games, and more opportunities for individual players to shine. This format also allows for more opportunities for players to showcase their skills. Every single night, this league is going to showcase the best basketball talent in the world because it has signed up the top 30 players in the world, including some of the most famous names in the game, such as Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart.
So this really gives us a chance to kind of spread out, and the premise is the best 30 players in the world, so you're going to see top talent being able to really show their skill set every night.
Consequently, what does this mean for Angel Reese? Clark's signing with Unrivalled sends a powerful message, despite the fact that Reese is undeniably a talented player and has amassed a sizable fan base. As the focus shifts even further to Clark's groundbreaking deal, it is possible that Reese, who has been vocal about her rivalry with Clark, will find herself playing catch-up, although there is no doubt that Reese will continue to shine in her own right. The fact that Clark has chosen to become a member of Unrivalled brings her status to an entirely new level. Despite the fact that Reese was defeated in this round, the competition is not yet over.
What's the most ridiculous thing that you've heard this year?
A lot of players have been getting a lot of really personal hate emails. I don't know if you guys saw Dejanay Carrington got an email calling her the N-word, and people are getting death threats, just stuff like that. So that is just too much, obviously.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, those people are stupid.
Doing that.
The competition between Reese and Clark has been one of the most talked about happenings in the world of women's basketball. As a result of their competition, the sport has received a great deal of attention, and the two have competed against one another in some of the most intense and exciting games. However, now that Clark has joined Unrivalled, the dynamics of that rivalry may shift in a different direction. In spite of the fact that Reese is still a star in her own right, Clark's new platform with Unrivalled puts her in the spotlight in a way that has the potential to surpass Reese's prominence. Due to the fact that both players continue to garner attention in their respective leagues, it will be fascinating to observe how this rivalry develops moving forward. Since the beginning of time, the narrative that surrounds women's sports has always been about underrepresentation, underpayment, and undervaluation. Caitlin Clark is at the forefront of the movement to rewrite that narrative, which is currently in progress. The fact that Unrivalled has been successful in luring a player of Clark's caliber is evidence that the level of competition in women's basketball has reached a critical point. These days, the question of whether or not female athletes deserve the spotlight is no longer relevant. They have earned it. At this point, the question that needs to be answered is how the sport can maintain the momentum that Clark has helped to generate. The belief that Clark will serve as the foundation of that movement is a bet that Unrivalled is placing, and it is one that is likely to be successful. Clark, along with other athletes, has been underutilized and undervalued for an excessively long period of time. However, now, with this new platform, she is being provided with the tools to fully unlock her potential. There are some people who may feel that Clark's decision to leave the WNBA behind, at least for the time being, is risky. However, it is a sign of the times. There are more options available to athletes than ever before, and Clark is making a statement by saying that she will go to the place where she is valued the most and where she can have the most significant impact. Unrivalled has provided her with the opportunity to build her legacy on her own terms, as well as the platform and financial support necessary to do so. Clark is sending a message to all future generations of female athletes by choosing this path. You do not have to settle for less, and you do not have to follow the traditional route in order to be very successful. The decision made by Clark will have repercussions that can be felt throughout the entire world of sports. The influence that she has had on Unrivalled is undeniable. However, what about the bigger picture? The manner in which athletes, particularly women, negotiate their futures is being influenced by Clark's decision to join this league, which is setting a precedent. In doing so, she demonstrates that it is possible to demand more and also to obtain it. Through her influence, she is making it simpler for athletes who will follow in her footsteps to ask for what they are rightfully entitled to. She is paving the way for athletes who will come after her. Throughout his career, Clark has always been about breaking down barriers in many different ways. Whether it's been through her record-breaking performances on the court or her decision to join a league that offers more than just a paycheck, Clark has repeatedly demonstrated that she is a leader and not a follower. She has established herself as a leader. Through her work with Unrivalled, she is carrying on that legacy. Next, what can we anticipate happening? The efforts of Caitlin Clark are just getting started. Unrivalled will provide her with the opportunity to establish her brand off the court while simultaneously allowing her to dominate on the court. In the future, she will continue to break records, defy expectations, and expand her legacy in ways that were previously incapable of being accomplished. In addition, the world of women's basketball will never be the same again as a result of her actions.